when we look at our budget, we kind of go, ugh, it's like asking you to clean out your garage on a gorgeous Saturday day, right? All people who are successful in doing their budget is just an awareness, having awareness of what your money is doing.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
Welcome back to Vivatude. I'm here with Lisa Brumm of My Financial Girlfriend. And Lisa, in this segment, I want you to share some of your favorite money hacks, things that people might not know, how we can reduce those expenses and just even out some of the unexpected money flow and cash flow challenges of life.
Yeah. Well, before I had mentioned like those people come to me sometimes when they have more month in bills than they do money. And so one of the things that I have top two money hacks that I can share with you today quickly is that when we look at our budget, we kind of go, ugh, it's like asking you to clean out your garage on a gorgeous Saturday day, right? Peel your nail beds down or something. I mean, or going to a dentist. It's like this instant dread when you think about your budget. And budget to me is like the word diet. It's like it's restrictive. It doesn't give you much choice, or you have the same choice all the time. And it's like it just becomes this dreary, repetitive feeling of weight that most people don't do a budget actually, and it's kind of even more detrimental if they don't even think, I don't want to think about it. So it's that head in the sand, right? We just put our head in the
Yes.
sand and kind of pray and hope our way through a 31-day month. And I so two things that I came up with that are fairly fundamental to all people who are successful in doing their budget is just an awareness, having awareness of what your money is doing and where you're sending it to. Where do I have to send it to? So I have classes and stuff, but one of the spreadsheets that I use is a budget. And top line is how much money is coming in after taxes, what your paycheck looks like, or if you're self-employed or a combination rental income or Social Security, just your income sources and what is the actual dollars that hit your bank account. And then we put in the top lines are all the bills that always show up. It's your rent, your car insurance, your utilities, your credit card payments, just the same bills that show up month after month of the month. These are I would call our fixed expenses, your normally fixed living expenses. Now, are they always the same dollar? Maybe not, because utilities in the summer might be higher because you have an AC unit running, and they might be lower in the spring because we're opening up the windows and making not having heat on and all that. So it's kind of a roller coaster effect. Mostly like your electrical, your if you have natural gas, or even your there's one other. Oh, water and garbage, sometimes watering the lawn compared to, not watering anything. So, what will happen, one of the top hacks is that you call your utility companies and you ask them now they all have cutesy little names, but just you're asking them for equal pay. You're asking them they look back at your last 12 months and they divide by 12, and instead of 1 month being 120, another month being 40 because you're doing a transition, all your months are going to be $82. And every month you now consistently, and you have control, and you know what that dollar amount is. It's not going to be a guessing game of how high or how low it's going to be every month.
Yes.
And so you have a consistent utility, maybe it's those top three. It's the electric, water, and your gas bill, right? So when you have consistency, then you know what it takes to have the house run efficiently all, for the entire month. The variables, the ones that can be up and down, and sometimes occasionally maybe it happens every 6 months as opposed to every month, is the things that you would then put below that line. And then those also include your food, your dining out, and your gas or automobile transportation, right? So anytime that you can put consistency inside of your budget, then your and the utilities are a big chunk of that usually. Also look at your streaming services. I know a lot of people now don't do cable TV. They just do a couple of streaming services
Yeah.
and take, a tenth of it is now the cost. Instead of $200, you're paying $20 a month or something like that. So just taking an assessment, like you change your batteries in your fire alarm, just think, oh yeah, this is the month I'm going to go and look at my budget and make sure I'm not paying too much for anything and everything I want in my budget. It also gives you a chance to prioritize. Maybe I don't watch Hulu as much as I used to. Maybe I'm going to stop it and start it again later. So these are all things that are very much you have control over, and it really came more of light. And I was talking more about this during as we were walking into COVID, because like I'm home now and my electrical bill went crazy, and now I have to figure out how to keep heat on for the whole winter 24/7 instead of the 8 hours or 10 hours I was gone from work. Okay, the second one, if you're ready, and you had any questions about that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, that's a great hack.
So the second one is credit card. So early in my career of being a financial advisor and having to network and try to sell my financial services was I talked to other people and go, "Oh, so hi, what do you do?" And they would tell me what they did. And eventually the conversation would go, "Well, what do you do?" And I would say, "Hi, I'm a financial advisor." And they'd give me this look of dread. And they'd look at me and go, "Oh God, I can't even think about investing until I get my credit card paid off, my credit cards paid off." And I got
Mhm.
that consistently. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, I was from the sales mindset, right? I was like, I gotta beat this objective. Like I gotta get over
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
hump. How the hell am I gonna do that, right? So I ended up, we didn't Google back in 1990, 8 or whatever, but I found a calculator online, and it's still there after 20 some years, and it's called the Rapid Reduction Debt Calculator. And it's exactly the same model. I mean, it really has not changed. I think they just forgot about it, and it's still there and it still works. But you put in all your credit card and your balances and your interest rate, and you put in the minimum payment. Now, most women tend to round up. So if it says $72, we usually send them 100 if we have it, right? But what
Mhm.
happened in 2001, the Federal Credit Act allowed banks and financial institutions that have credit cards to, instead of divide your interest rate, like in those days it was 12%, and instead of divide it by 12, they were allowed to divide it by 365 days. Most congressmen didn't even think that was, well, it's not a big deal. But what it
Yeah.
did is it compounded interest in a way that's never been compounded against Americans before. And millions of dollars now were being collected in interest payments because it was fractional interest rates daily compounded against your outstanding balance. Big time problems. And then interest rates started going up. So, what I did is I used this calculator, and I found out it has three algorithms, and it tells you how to pay your credit cards down the fastest way by months, as even if you're just doing minimum payments. And the coolest part is that, you can be, 30 years out from ever paying it all off with minimum, the way we do it. But what you do is you follow, and they give you a printout. I can do it for you too, but you just get a printout of every month that tells you how much to put to this card and how much to put to that card. And it literally pays it off in like an eighth of the time. So you can go from 360 months down to like 82 months, right? And be completely debt
Wow.
free. And the idea is that the paying your credit cards off faster, one of those three tricks, and I know we have short on time, but is to actually, if you do pay that 72 on or before the due date, but you hold
Uh-huh.
back the $28 in extra, you apply it 1 or 2 days afterwards, because what happens is now the 28 is acted as close to a principal only payment to the balance, and they can only collect 1 or 2 days of fractional interest against that 28, and now you're paying close to a principal only payment. Instead of when it's all glommed in one payment as $100, they get to take all the interest first. So that's why it doesn't look like you've actually paid $28 to your extra balance. It only looks like you paid $14 instead. So the idea is that we actually know how to pay our debt off. And that debt plan then frees up people's brains and go, oh, now I can put, I'll put $100 extra towards my credit cards when I was paying $150, and $50 now can go into an investment or bank account for emergencies. So either way, you're using the same money that you've been doing, and you now have double purpose for each, paying off debt and building your savings.
Yes, this is something I learned from you, and I also help people get out of credit card debt and show them how to like negotiate down their
Yes.
interest rates even.
Yep.
I mean, there's different solutions, and I love this hack because I wasn't aware of this change or how it impacted people. And just to really shortcut this hack, if you're paying more than the minimum, you want to pay that minimum as soon as possible in the
Yep.
cycle, and then you make a separate payment. If you're going to
Yes.
pay extra, you make that payment separately. Do I
Yes.
have that correct?
Yes. Because the minimum payment
Perfect.
stops the clock on that cycle. And the
Yeah.
extra actually becomes, like I said, as fractionally close as to principal only payment as you can get. And they
Okay.
don't do that if you pay it all in one, because everything's now automated. So they're just applying it all to credit card interest first, and then
Uh-huh.
whatever may be left over, which is again fractional amounts. Because I always ask people, well, and one way that I could help them through that obstacle of bad credit is like, do you ever feel like you're paying extra towards your credit cards, but you doesn't feel like your credit card balances are going
Yes.
down? And that's the problem, is that people were like, no, it never goes down. I've been paying on it for years this way and nothing is happening. And I'm like, let me help you.
Yeah, because the whole trap, like these Wall Street corporations, like, they want you to pay as much as possible for as long as possible to get as little benefit as possible. One resource I'm always sharing with people, you probably are familiar with it, is a special report. I think it's about a dozen years old now, from demos.org. It's called The Retirement Savings Drain. You can Google it, you can download this PDF for free, and it walks through. We were in our first segment, we were talking about fees,
Right.
and the hidden fees, and this is a whole, I think it's about 18 pages long, but it's a whole study that Robert Hilton Smith, he was like, what, I keep putting money into my 401k, but it's hardly growing. Like, what is the problem
What's
here?
going
And
on?
so
Yeah.
he did this deep dive. He's a policy analyst, and he did a deep dive discovering all of these hidden fees, also discovering that most people had no idea that they were paying these fees, and showing how the bottom line that he discovered was that the median income couple, and this was, like I said, 12, 13 years ago, the median income couple contributing regularly to their 401ks, that they were losing approximately a third, or what equated to $155,000 to costs and fees. So if you want to,
Yeah.
so what you say about like knowing what fees you're paying, and are they excessive? Are you getting value for those fees? Making sure that you're not being like gaslighted and just sold something that
Yeah.
just has all these extra fees that you're not even aware of that you're paying.
Right.
So information, education is absolutely power. Lisa,
Absolutely.
I want people to know how they can get a hold of you. Your website is myfinancialgirlfriend.biz,
No,
correct?
it's the website is .com. My email is
Oh,
.biz.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
That's
okay.
right. Your email
Yeah.
is different. Okay.
Yeah, my
Uh,
email is myfinancialgirlfriend.com. And if you're on any one page more than 10 seconds, there's a pop-up that you can put your name and email, and you get a top 15 money hack download. And it talks about, I mean, definitely puts the two that I talked about, but there's others. I've got thousands of them as I've over the years that I've collected just money hacks all throughout. I also have I'm on Facebook, social media, Instagram. I have a TikTok. What's else? Uh, LinkedIn, all the norms. Um, and yeah, and I'm offering to any of your listeners today a 30-minute free discovery, which they can also book through my website if they wanted to have 30 minutes of my time to chit chat about finances and money.
Fantastic. That's an incredible offer. Everybody should take Lisa up on that. You go to myfinancialgirlfriend.com and you can sign up for those money hacks. You can also book that complimentary call with Lisa. And as you can tell, she's just an absolute delight and very, very savvy, and holds this shame-free space as she helps you solve your financial problems and find those creative solutions that are going to work for you. So thank you so much, Lisa, for being with us. Thank you to the listeners for being with us here on Vivatude. Please like, please subscribe, and we will see you next time.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.